If you want shape to your arms, to your biceps, to your triceps, to your shoulders, this is how we do it. We don't jump, spin, toss our dumbbells and do really complex moves. Instead, the better way is using simple, controlled exercises that directly target the muscle so that it changes. That's how arms get more defined, not from chaos, but from focused strength work. In our studio, that's how we do all of our workouts. We strength train together, and then you add your daily steps. That's how you see real lasting change, especially after the age of 35. Let's get started. We are focusing on the biceps, the triceps, as well as the shoulders. And to do that, we need both light and heavy dumbbells. For me, I'm using 5-pound weights for my dumbbells, and then I have 12s and 15s for my heavies for my triceps and biceps. You can even go a little bit heavier for those. Also, a sturdy chair. We're gonna start off with a warm-up. I want you to touch your shoulder and then make real small circles with your elbow forward for 4, 3, 2, and 1, and then circle it back. Now a warm-up is so important because it sets your body up for a better workout. So getting in that shoulder mobility, and now I want you to swim it back, slight bend in that elbow for 5, 4, opening up through that chest, 3, 2, and 1. Other side, touch your shoulder, and here we go, circle it forward for 5, for 4, 3, 2, and 1, circle it back for 5, 4, 3, 2, and now we're gonna swim, slight bend in that elbow for 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. All right, now we're gonna go touchdown arms. So I want you to bring your arms out to the side and then try to touch your elbows in front as you round through your spine. So we open through the chest and then try to touch the elbows in front, rounding. 4, here's 3. Oh, that should just feel really good on your spine. Last one right here. All right, now feet go hip width apart. We're gonna make the letter Y. So hips are gonna go back. You're gonna make the letter Y. And as you make the letter Y, I want you to think about reaching long, not reaching high. Keep the shoulders down out of your ears. We don't wanna create any neck tension. In fact, we wanna get rid of that neck tension. We want our workouts to make us feel good. Here's your last 2. Really sit those hips back as you try to bring those arms up, working that shoulder mobility, and release. All right, we're starting off. Our first superset is shoulders, grabbing lighter dumbbells. Now, before we get into this exercise, I want you to give me a shrug and a release, and then I want you to find neutral. Think about opening up through those clavicles so you're not rounded through your spine. All right, slight bend in the knees, slight bend in the elbows, and we're gonna come up halfway, and then we're gonna come up to shoulder height, stopping shy of shoulder height. That way we don't get the work into our traps, but we keep the work in the deltoid. So deltoid shoulder, same muscle. We're working right through here, that V shape. That is exactly where I want you to be feeling this exercise. And that little half to full, these get fiery fast. Now we're aiming for about 10 repetitions, but depending on the weight that you picked up, you might do more, you might do less. The goal is to get to where those reps are challenging but doable. We call that RIR, or reps in reserve. All the literature shows, you will see results by making sure those last few repetitions are hard. If you do anything in your workout, make sure you're lifting heavy enough so that those last few repetitions are challenging, again, but doable. That way we're not transferring any move into our traps. 3 more right here. So it's half, keep those elbows bent, and then stopping shy of shoulder height. Last 2. Trying not to use momentum because golly gee, I want to use momentum on this last one right here. And release. All right, now we're gonna just use one of those dumbbells, bring it down to the ground. Now we're gonna work the rear aspect, the back shoulder. So bending through those knees, bring your head down here or even onto your bicep. Dumbbell comes up. I want you to go ahead and start with a bend in that elbow. And I want you to bring the dumbbell forward and bring it up. And I want you to think about leading with your elbow. Your elbow leads, and you've got about a 30-degree bend in that elbow. Again, focusing on the shoulder, not taking any tension up into our neck. And if you're finding that you find some tension in your neck, you might need to go a little bit lighter. Just fine tuning those shoulders. Again, aiming for about 10 reps. I'm counting 5 more. These also get fiery fast. I mean, because of the longer lever, your arm is far away from your body. A light dumbbell really fires this one up too. I'm counting 1 more right here. And bend that elbow and switch. Same thing on the other side. And y'all, that is our first superset, working those shoulders. We're gonna repeat it. All right, so bend through that elbow, and here we go, bring it forward. Staying in line with your shoulder girdle. Again, the elbow leads the exercise. Elbow leads the exercise, so you feel back shoulder. Bringing those shoulders down out of your ears so we're not up here in that neck tension. 4, 3, here's 2. Last one right here, trying not to swing. And go ahead, bring it on up. All right, we're gonna start from the top. So grab your other dumbbell. And here we go, we're going half to full. Go ahead, give me that shrug, and then find that neutral. Let's go, bend in the elbows, and then full up. So it's half, half to full. We call it a reset rep. So if you start to feel anything up in your traps, and when I say traps, I mean up in here, you just sit a rep out and then you reset the exercise and get back into it. Shoulders can be tricky because a lot of times those traps want to take over. Sometimes those traps are dominant or stronger, but we want to keep the focused work in those shoulders. Here we go, here's 5 more. And you can always stop shy. I'm counting to 10. Those reps are up to you. Just giving you a good goal. 2 more. Again, stopping below that shoulder height, so half, and then stop just shy of shoulder height. Last one. And release, going into that rear deltoid fly. Coming down to the ground. And go ahead and support your spine by placing your head on your bicep. Dumbbell comes up, bend that elbow, and we lead with the elbow for 10, 9. So this RIR, or reps in reserve, it's not training to failure. And not that there's anything wrong with training to failure, but it can take a toll on your nervous system where you always feel depleted, or workouts make you feel worse than they make you feel better. And that's not what we want. So we use the RIR method. Great for our nervous system. We want you to feel good after your workout. Here's 3. And trust me, you will see plenty of results too. Last one. Bend that elbow and release to the other side. Bend that elbow, bring it up. 30-degree bend in the elbow, and elbow leads for 10, 9. Just some light tension in your core. So you're bracing through your core so everything doesn't collapse as you come forward. Here's 6. Here's 5. 4. 3, again, trying not to swing. Don't use that momentum. 2, last one right here. Back shoulders on fire. All right, go ahead, bring it on up, but I want you to stay down on the ground. We're gonna move into a triset. That is our next set of 3 exercises. All right, we're gonna do a triceps press. So your shoulders are directly over your wrists, and we're gonna bring those elbows down and up. I also like to call this one the woodpecker push-up, because I want you to think about keeping a straight spine. Now, if you want to feel it even more in those triceps, I want you to stay in that tension, stay in that tension. 6, muscles change by adding tension, whether it's weight, body weight, repetitions. 3, ooh, triceps, yes, and release. All right, go ahead and stand it on up. I want you to grab your chair as well as your heavy weight. We're gonna be doing a triceps extension. All right, so triceps extension, you're gonna go over your head and we bend and we extend. I'm gonna grab my 15-pound dumbbell for this, and we're doing it in a seated position so that you can keep your rib cage closed. All right, bringing the dumbbell up safely up over your head, cup the edge of the dumbbell, and I want you to get in the fully lengthened position and up. Now again, your ribs stay closed. Common mistake is to flare that rib cage, and then that hurts your spine. All right, so keep that rib cage closed and think about getting that full length and extend here. Again, aiming for about 10 repetitions. Ooh, yeah, I picked up the right weight. So right about here is where those reps should be challenging, but doable. So about 3 or 4 more. Try to get that full lengthen in. Here's 2. Last one. And gracefully bring that dumbbell on down. I'm gonna set that dumbbell to the side because I'm actually gonna grab a 12 for our bicep concentration curl. Now you're gonna sit real ladylike in this concentration curl. Get this out of the way a little bit. Okay, so you're gonna pitch the elbow on the inside of your thigh and you're gonna curl, and then I want you to go slow on the way down. And as you curl, a lot of us tend to wanna curl the wrist as well. Keep it in your biceps. Try not to curl through the wrist, but keep it in those biceps. Right here, biceps. Really great for toning the arms. Slower on the way down. So we've got that concentric and then the eccentric phase of this exercise. So in the eccentric phase, the lengthening phase, I want you to go slow. Makes it hard, doesn't it? Yeah. All right, I'm getting 3 more. Here's 2. Last one right here. So challenging, but doable. That's what it should look like. Slow on the way down. And switch sides. So again, pitch that elbow on the inside, and here we go, curl. I love singling out biceps, slow on the way down. So again, we don't get any tension up in our shoulders. The only focused work here is right here in the bicep, all right? Nothing else can be recruited or take over other than if you're curling that wrist. Remember, slow on the way down. Aiming for about 10, but that can always be 8. It can also be 12. So we strength train together, and then you add a daily walk. And the research is clear on walking. Just a handful more. 4,000 steps a day, minimum. The literature shows that 7,000 steps a day is where most people see results. Around 12,000 steps a day, those results start to taper. So in the studio, we recommend 1 30-minute outdoor walk. Remember, slow on the way down. And then every 60 to 90 minutes, you're moving. You're pacing on calls. You're walking around the house. You're doing laundry. You're moving for 10 minutes after a meal. So every 60 or 90 minutes, you're moving, and those steps, they add up really stinking fast. And when you're done, we're gonna go back to those triceps. So I'm gonna be grabbing my 15-pound dumbbell for my triceps. All right, so again, carefully, we're gonna bring that dumbbell up, and here we go. We bend and extend. Now, as you bend, I want you to get the lengthening of the triceps. So the tricep back of the arms, you're getting that lengthening, and then bring it up, all right? But depending what dumbbell you picked up, you might not be able to get that full lengthening in. Always listening to the feedback of your body. About 5 or 6 more. Keep the rib cage closed. Keep those shoulders out of your ears. And gracefully, gradually bring that dumbbell down as you pick up your other dumbbell for concentration curls. So pitch that elbow on the inside of your thigh, and we curl and we go down slower than we want to. We curl and we come down nice and slow. Curl, come down nice and slow. Yes, here's 4. Here's 5. All right, we're gonna talk about walking again. Here's 6. I underestimated walking throughout my entire 20s and my entire 30s. And then at 40, everything I was doing wasn't working anymore. The minute I added walking, everything changed. And that sent me down a rabbit hole of the last 6 years of researching HIIT, strength, hormones, walking, and walking, it's a game changer. So make sure you get that walking in. Last 2. Last one right here. And slow on the way down. Yes, and switch, other side. Here we go. So walking will help the body composition. And by body composition, that means increasing muscle and reducing fat composition. So strength takes care of the muscle, and then the walking helps take care of the fat composition. Doing them both together is real lasting change. That's how you see it. Good to feel that heart rate revving when we lift heavy. I'm counting 5 more. Again, try not to curl that wrist and go slow on the way down. Slow, slow, slow. Here's 3. Slow, slow, slow. Here's 2. Last one right here. And slow on the way down. So challenging, but doable, yes. All right, I'm gonna go ahead and set those dumbbells to the side. We are gonna continue to use our chair for some stretching. All right, so we're gonna get into this triceps first. I want you to reach one hand behind you and reach between your shoulder blades. If you want, you can even add a little bit of resistance here. You can even add a little lateral stretch. Holding for just about 15 to 20 seconds. Don't want to go too intense after intense work. And switch, so reach behind, reach between those shoulder blades, and if you want, add a little bit more. And you can even add that side stretch here. All right, go ahead and slow down your breathing. You're in charge of it, so big deep breaths. All right, go ahead and stand it on up. And I want you to bring one arm across, stretching out through that shoulder. So the deep breathing, we do it at the end of every workout. That helps our nervous system get into that rest and digest state, because so many of us are in fight or flight all the time. All right, go ahead and switch sides. So use your breath to control that. Research even shows that it can bring cortisol down about 20%. So using that deep breathing, really good for you. All right, and now we're gonna come down to the floor. I'm gonna get that chair on out of the way. Your feet are together, your knees are wide. I want you to stack one hand on top of the other, and I want you to reach to the side. You can even relax your forehead down on the ground. You're gonna feel this through shoulder girdle as well as side body. And go ahead and bring it up, and we're gonna switch other side, so stack and come on down. Big deep breaths. All right, go ahead and bring it on up. All right, final breathing. We're gonna do it from our belly today. So come on down to your stomach. And I want you to place either your cheekbone or your ear down on the ground, opening up through your neck, and then palms face up. And from here, big deep breath in, hold, and then exhale here. I want you to aim for 5 to 10 big deep breaths on this side, and then switch to your other ear.